You know what's mind-blowing about ancient cultural barriers? In first century Judea, Jews would add an extra 6 days to their journey just to avoid walking through Samaria. That's how deep the hatred ran between these groups.
That really puts this encounter in perspective. The fact that Jesus deliberately chose to travel through Samaria must have shocked his followers.
And here's what makes this story so fascinating. It wasn't just about crossing geographical boundaries. A Jewish rabbi speaking to a Samaritan woman would be like breaking every possible social taboo at once.
Hmm. Speaking of taboos, the timing is significant too. Why would she come to draw water at noon in the scorching heat?
Well, that's actually a key detail that tells us so much about her social status. Most women came to draw water in the cool morning hours when they could socialize. Coming at noon suggests she was actively avoiding her community, likely due to her complicated relationship history.
That history is pretty striking. 5 failed marriages in a culture where women depended entirely on their husbands for survival. She must have carried enormous shame.
You know what's remarkable about Jesus' approach, though? He doesn't lead with judgment. Instead, he starts with this brilliant metaphor about living water, something that would have resonated deeply in a semi arid climate where water meant life.
The way he handles that conversation is like watching a master communicator at work. He meets her exactly where she is, using her daily task to introduce profound spiritual truths.
And let's talk about what happens next. This woman who came to the well trying to avoid people suddenly becomes the town's most enthusiastic messenger. She leaves behind her valuable water jar. That's like abandoning your smartphone today because she's found something far more important.
That transformation is incredible. She goes from social outcast to evangelist in one conversation. And the fact that the townspeople actually listened to her testimony suggests her status changed dramatically.
You know, this story fits into a larger pattern in John's gospel. It comes right after Jesus' nighttime conversation with Nicodemus, a respected Jewish religious leader who struggled to understand Jesus' teachings about spiritual rebirth.
The contrast between those two encounters really highlights Jesus' ability to connect with people across the social spectrum. Whether talking to a religious elite or a social outcast, he adapted his approach while maintaining his core message.
And here's what's particularly fascinating. When Jesus reveals himself as the Messiah to this woman, it's one of his most direct declarations of identity in all the Gospels. He tells her plainly, I who speak to you am he. That's huge, given how often he was cryptic about his identity with others.
Well, that raises an interesting question. Why do you think he was so direct with her when he was often more guarded with religious leaders?
Um, I think it speaks to the larger theme of how God often works through unexpected people. Here's someone who would have been considered completely unqualified to receive such a revelation. Yet she becomes one of the most effective messengers of Jesus' identity.
That really challenges our assumptions about who's qualified to speak about spiritual matters, doesn't it?
Exactly. And it has such relevance for today. We still live in a world full of social, racial, and religious barriers. People still struggle with shame, rejection, and searching for fulfillment in all the wrong places.
So, what you're saying is that this ancient story actually provides a model for breaking down modern social barriers.
Precisely. And here's the really powerful part. This encounter shows that true transformation isn't just about changing someone's beliefs. It's about helping them discover their inherent worth and purpose, regardless of their past or social status.
That's such a timeless message that everyone, regardless of their background or past mistakes, has value and can be used to make a difference in their community.
You know, when we look at the impact of this story throughout history, it's been used countless times to challenge social hierarchies and prejudices. It's like a blueprint for how to see beyond our preconceptions and connect with people we might otherwise avoid.